Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. How are you today? I hope all of you are in good condition. Okay, we are from the fourth group. We will explain about listening part B and C questions. But before we start our presentation today, we will introducing the presenters. The first presenter is Lailatul Mubarakah. She will explain about contrary meanings. And the second presenter is Nafilatul Amaniyah. She will explain about idiomatic language. The third presenter is Fauzah Umamah. She will explain about listening part B question. And the last presenter is Yanti Rizka Dewi. She will explain about listening part C question. Contrary meanings. Skill 14. Listen for wishes. Conversation about wishes can appear listening part A. The important idea to remember about wishes is that a wishes implies that the opposite of the wish is true. The following chart outlines the key points that you should know about wishes. You can see in the label on screen or on the PPT. The first point is an affirmative wish implies a negative reality. It means that this is not reality. For example, I wish I had time to help. So, the meaning is no time to help. And the second point is a negative wish implies an affirmative reality. Although negative wishes, this implies an affirmative reality. For example, I wish I didn't have time to help. It means that time to help. And the third point is a past tense verb implies a present reality. This is about past tense verb that implies present reality. For example, I wish he were at home. It means that he's not at home. And the last point is a past perfect tense verb implies a past reality. And the example is I wish he had been at home. It means that was not at home. Now we will try to answer the exercise.
TOEFL exercise 14. In this exercise, listen carefully to the short conversation and question on the tape, and then choose the best answer to the question. You should remember that a wish implies an opposite meaning. Number 1.
Do you think we'll be able to get tickets for the concert?
I wish there weren't so many people in line in front of us. What does the woman mean?
Okay, after we hear the audio, as we know that the correct answer for exercise 14 is C. The line in front of the is too long. Because the woman said she wished there is no many people in line in front of her.
TOEFL exercise skills 14 through 15. In this exercise, listen carefully to the short conversation and question on the tape, and then choose the best answer to the question. Number 1. Did you enjoy the film?
I wish it had not been so violent.
What does the woman mean?
And the correct answer is C. She thinks the film was too violent. Because the woman said in the audio, I wish it had not been so violent.
TOEFL exercise 15. In this exercise, listen carefully to the short conversation and question on the tape, and then choose the best answer to the question. You should be particularly careful of untrue conditions. Number 1. I'm glad I called and told you about the meeting.
If you hadn't called me, I would not have known.
What does the man mean?
The correct answer is B. The woman called to let let him know about the meeting, because if the woman not called him, so the man would not know about the meeting.
Exercise, skills 1 through 15. In this exercise, listen carefully to the short conversation and question on the tape, and then choose the best answer to the question. Number 1.
This tea is awfully hot.
Why not wait a few minutes?
What does the woman suggest?
The correct answer is C, letting the tea cool off a bit, because the woman suggests for wait a few minutes in order to the tea not hot more.
Idiomatic language. Skill 16. Listen for 2 and 3 part verbs. 2 and 3 part verbs appear in some questions in listening part A. These verbs are expressions that include a verb and one or more particles, such as in, on, or at. The particle changes the meaning of the verb. Questions involving 2 and 3 part verb can be difficult for students because the addition of the particle changes the meaning of the verb in an idiomatic way.
Exercise 16. In this exercise, listen carefully to the short conversation and question on the tape, and then choose the best answer to the question. You should be particularly careful of 2 and 3 part verbs. Number 1.
The new neighbors have just moved in.
Maybe we should call on them. According to the woman, what should they do?
The correct answer is D. Visit the neighbors. Because the woman, according to a woman, that tell about she want to call the neighbors. Skill 17. Listen for idioms. Idioms appear in some question in learning part A. Idioms are special expression in a language that all speakers of the language know. The special expression describe one situation in life but are applied to many different areas of life. Idiom question can be difficult for students because they seem to be describing on situation when they are really describing a different situation.
TOEFL Exercise 17. In this exercise, listen carefully to the short conversation and question on the tape, and then choose the best answer to the question. You should be particularly careful of idioms. Number 1.
I was 15 minutes late for class today.
Better late than never.
What does the woman mean?
The right answer is D. It's good that the man went to class on time or not. Because the woman said better late than never. It's mean that better went to class for man no matter he will late or not.
Exercise, skills 16 through 17. In this exercise, listen carefully to the short conversation and question on the tape, and then choose the best answer to the question. Number 1.
Do you do the cooking every night?
No, my roommate and I take turns.
What does the woman mean?
The right answer is B. She and her roommate alternate cooking responsibilities because the woman said they want to cook together with her roommate.
Exercise, skills 1 through 17. In this exercise, listen carefully to the short conversation and question on the tape, and then choose the best answer to the question. Number 1.
Could you put some more wood in the fireplace?
I have to bring some in from outside.
What does the man imply?
The best answer is A. There is no more wood inside because the man implied, or in the audio, the man implied he bring internal inside.
Well, next move the strategy for the listening part B question. If you have time, preview the answer to the listening part B question. Listen carefully to the first line of conversation. As you listen to the conversation, draw conclusion about the situation of the conversation, who is talking, where the conversation take place, or when it take place. As you listen to the conversation, Follow along with the answer in your textbook and try to determine the correct answer. You should guess even if you are not sure. Use any remaining time to look ahead at the answer to questions that follow. Skill 20. Determine the topic. As you listen to each conversation in listening part B, you should be thinking about the topic, subject, or main idea for each conversation. Sign the first one or two sentences generally give the topic. You should be asking yourself what the topic is while you are listening carefully to the first part of the conversation.
Exercise 20. Listen to the first part of each of the conversations and decide on the topic of each conversation. Number 1. The first part of conversation 1 is,
I'm looking for a part-time job on campus.
what is the topic of conversation 1?
The correct answer is men are looking for a part-time on campus. Skill 21. Draw conclusion about who, what, when, where. As you listen to each conversation in listening part B, you should be trying to set the situation in your mind. You should be thinking the following thoughts. Who is talking? When does the conversation probably take place? Where does the conversation probably take place? What is the course of information for the conversation?
Exercise 21. Listen to the first part of each of the conversations and try to imagine the situation. Then answer the questions in the text. Conversation 1. Listen to the beginning of conversation 1 and try to imagine the situation.
I'm looking for a part-time job on campus.
Then you've come to the right place. The campus employment office is here just to help students like you find jobs on campus.
I'm glad to hear that, because I really need to start earning some money.
Number 1. Who is probably talking? Number 2. Where does the conversation take place?
Correct answer is a student and an employment office worker. And question number 2, where does the conversation take place? The correct answer is in the campus employment office. Skill 22. Listen for answer in order. There are two possible methods to use while you listen to a conversation in the listening part B of the TOEFL test. You can just listen to the conversation and ignore the answer. You can follow along with the answer while you listen.
Listen to the following conversation about a part-time job.
I'm looking for a part-time job on campus.
Then you've come to the right place. The campus employment office is here just to help students like you find jobs on campus.
I'm glad to hear that, because I really need to start earning some money.
Let me ask you some questions to help determine what kind of job would be best. First of all, how many hours a week do you want to work?
I need to work at least 10 hours a week, and I don't think I can handle more than 20 hours with all the courses I'm taking.
And when are you free to work?
All of my classes are in the morning, so I can work every weekday from noon on. And of course, I wouldn't mind working on the weekends.
I'll try to match you up with one of our on-campus student jobs. Please fill out this form with some additional information about your skills and leave the form with me today. Then you can call me back tomorrow and maybe I'll have some news for you.
Thanks for your help.
Number 1. What does the man want to do?
If it's like that, the reason you can look in the sentence. The question is, what does the man want to do? We heard that the man said, I'm looking for a part-time job on campus. It means he's looking for a job or work on campus. So that the correct answer is A. Find work on campus.
Exercise, skills 18 through 22. In this exercise, you will use all of the information that you learned in skills 18 through 22. Conversation 1. Questions 1 through 4. Listen to a man asking a woman for directions.
Can you tell me how to get to the music building from here? I have a lecture to attend there.
Oh, are you new to campus?
Yes, I just got here last night.
Well, to get to the music building, you have two choices. If you want to go right now, you can walk straight down the street until you're past the Commons, and then turn right. The music building will be straight ahead.
How long will it take to get there?
About 20 minutes.
What's my other choice?
If you don't mind waiting around for a while, you can take the shuttle bus. The bus only takes about 5 minutes to get there.
But I have to wait for the bus?
That's right.
Well, I guess I might as well walk.
Number 1. Where does the man want to go?
Where does the man want to go? So, we focus on the man speaking. The man asked to the woman, "Can you tell me how to get to the music building from here? I have a lecture to attend there." Here it is clear. We can look the first begin conversation. The man said, "I have a lecture to attend there." So, the man want to go to a lecture. We can find the correct answer is C, to a lecture.
Strategies for the listening part C question. Number 1. If you have time, preview the answer to the listening part C question. Number 2. Listen carefully to the first line of the talk. Number 3. As you listen to the talk, draw conclusion about the situation of the talk. Who is talking? Where or when the talk takes place? Which course this lecture may be given in? Number 4. As you listen to the talk, follow along with the answer in your test book and try to determine to the correct answer. Number 5. You should guess even if you are not sure. Number 6. Use any remaining time to look ahead at the answer to the question that follows. Determine the topic. As you listen to each talk in listening part C, you should be thinking about the topic or subject or main idea for the talk as you did in listening part B. Since first sentence is generally a topic sentence, you should be asking yourself what the topic is while you are listening carefully to the first part of the talk.
Exercise 25. Listen to the first part of each of the talks and decide on the topic of each talk. Number 1. The first part of Talk 1 is, "Welcome to Biology 101. I'm Professor Martin, and this is your laboratory assistant, Peter Smith." What is the topic of Talk 1?
The best answer is stay in biology because in the audio she said welcome to biology class. It means the first impression or the first meeting.
Exercise 26. Listen to the first part of each of the talks and try to imagine the situation. Then answer the questions in the text. Talk 1. Listen to the beginning of Talk 1 and try to imagine the situation. "Welcome to Biology 101. I'm Professor Martin, and this is your laboratory assistant, Peter Smith. This course meets twice a week for lecture and once a week for laboratory assignments." Number 1. Who is probably talking? Number 2. Where does the talk probably take place? 3. When does the talk probably take place? Number 4. What course is being discussed?
From the audio, I have explained how to answer in skill 26. We must clarification who is talking, when, where, and others. And number 1, who is probably talking? And the answer is Professor Martin. Why? Because in this audio he said, I'm Professor Martin.
TOEFL Exercise 27. Listen to each complete talk and answer the questions that follow. Talk 1. Questions 1 through 5. Listen to a talk given by a professor. Welcome to Biology 101. I'm Professor Martin, and this is your laboratory assistant, Peter Smith. This course meets twice a week for lecture and once a week for laboratory assignments. The text for this course is Introduction to Biological Sciences by Abramson. You should get the text and read the first chapter before the next class. You will also need to get the laboratory manual that accompanies the text. I've passed out a copy of the course syllabus. This syllabus lists the reading assignments and exam dates. Note that we will cover one chapter a week for each of the next 15 weeks in the semester, and there will be 3 exams throughout the course. Grades in this course are based on your exam grades and your grades on the laboratory assignments. Are there any questions? Number 1. When does this talk probably take place?
Correct answer is C. On the first day of class. The correct answer is because Professor Martin said you should get the text and read the first chapter before the next class.
TOEFL review exercise, skills 23 through 27. In this exercise, you will use all the information that you learned in skills 23 through 27. Talk 1. Questions 1 through 4. Listen to a talk by a librarian.
Hello and welcome to the library. I'm Ms. Martin, the assistant librarian, and this is the library orientation tour for new graduate students in the business department. If you are not a newly admitted graduate student or your major is not business, then you are in the wrong place. Now let's get started. I'm sure you understand that as graduate students, you'll be required to do a tremendous amount of research. Here at the library, we try to make this process as easy as possible for you. The library is open for extensive hours from 7 a.m. until midnight 7 days a week, so that you'll have access to library research facilities almost any time that you want. During final exam week, the library is open 24 hours a day, and there are library staff members available to help you whenever the library is open. During this tour, we will be concentrating on 2 areas of the library. The first area is the computerized search facilities, which are located on the 2nd floor of the library. On the computer systems located in this area, you can conduct computer searches for books as well as articles in magazines, newspapers, and journals. On the floor above the computer area are reference materials devoted specifically to business. In this area, you can find references for books and periodicals related to business and annual reports on major corporations. Now that we have completed this little introduction, we're ready to start the tour. Please follow me.
Number 1. Who is Ms. Martin talking to?
The right answer is D. Graduate business student. The right answer is because Mrs. Martin said that this is library orientation tour for new graduate student in business department.